will discuss about the carrier concentration and Fermi levels in semiconductors. A little bit of background theory before we proceed with the numericals. In the last class, we have derived the equation for electron concentration, which was N equals to Nc, e raised to minus of Ec minus Ef by kT. Okay, and the concentration of holes was given as P equals to Nv. This Nv is what? The effective density of states in the valence band. Fine. And here again e raised to minus of Ef minus Ef minus of Ev Cf by kT. Okay. In the energy band diagram, the bottom end of the conduction band, if this is the conduction band, and here is the valence band. Fine. So conduction band, let us mark this as valence band. Fine. Now this Nc, it points to the effective density of energy states. Fine. Higher the density, more is the capability to accommodate the electrons, and so on. Fine. Now in this case, the bottom end of the conduction band is referred to as Ec, and the top end of the valence band. Now you know these are what the discrete energy levels, and they are grouped together and they are referred to as band. So here this is marked as Ef. So these two notations are clear. So basically it is a relative energy. So this energy level will be greater as compared to this, as compared to this, and so on. Now I'm just going to take this part, the Ec and the Ev. Ec and Ev. Okay, these are the two lines, meaning the two energy levels taken from here, this diagram. Okay, because we are not interested in these regions. Now let us draw a Fermi level. Now last time we have discussed what is Fermi level. It is a measure of probability of occupancy of the allowed energy states. When it tells you whether that particular energy state is occupied by electron or not. Fine. Now in that case, let us mark some Fermi level here. Ef. Okay. Now if I look at this equation, the concentration of electron, that is N, depends on difference of Ec minus Ef. So here Ec minus Ef, this difference will decide the concentration of electron. It is minus of Ec minus Ef. So more closer it is to the Ec, higher will be the density of electron states. Fine. Now similarly, the hole concentration, the value of P, okay, it points out to the concentration, meaning the quantity of holes. It depends upon, see, typically this is constant. So many things here. Now the value of P depends on, these are the different parameters. Now this normally Nv is kept constant, Kt or the temperature is kept constant at 300 degree Kelvin. K is a Boltzmann constant. So this product is also a constant value for T equals to 300 degree Kelvin, and it is taken to be 0.026 millivolts. Now if even Nv is constant, then the value of P is purely a function of Ef and Ev, isn't it? So the number of holes here, similarly the hole concentration depends on Ef to Ev value, the difference of these two, and it's negative. Fine. When it in case of intrinsic semiconductor, this lies right at the center. In case of extrinsic semiconductor, we have got two types, N type and P type. If it is N type, this Fermi level is going to shift towards Ec, and if it is P type, this will shift towards Ev. This again we had discussed in the last class. Now if I take another line for just for your understanding, EF1 and this as EF2. Okay. Now, for if I want to calculate the concentration of electrons, the first case is this EC, difference of EC and EF1. And if I shift this Fermi level to another energy level, that is EF2, what difference it will make to the overall concentration. So if I look at this particular figure, then EC minus of EF1, the difference between this is less as compared to EC minus of EF2, isn't it? Now this is raised e raised to the power minus, so it is e raised to minus EC minus of EF1 by KT will be greater as compared to E minus EC minus EF2. Simple mathematical analysis here. Fine, because it is e raised to minus power. Now what it tells you here, this tells you for the first case when EF1 is closer to the EC as compared to EF2, then let us mark for this case number of electrons is N1 and for this case the number of electrons is as N2. Then if I compare the two cases, this difference and this difference, okay, for the given concentration, then I can write N1 as greater to N2. Fine. Similarly, this holds true for the holes. Now I can write if the Fermi level moves towards EC, then number of electron increases and the number of holes decreases. Again, if EF, if it shifts, now if I take a single EF, okay, now here, if this EF shift towards EV, then naturally the concentration of holes is going to increase. Now in case of intrinsic semiconductor, we can write N equals to P equals to Ni, isn't it? Now here, if N equals to P equals to Ni, and if I substitute in this particular expression, what I get is the value of N equals to Ni into EF minus EI by KT, where this is all important equation, where where Ni equals to Nc here, e raised to minus of Ec minus. Now Fermi level in case of intrinsic semiconductor can be denoted as simply Ei by KT. Okay, so likewise I can get the value of P in terms of Ni, that is intrinsic concentration, is Ei minus Ef by KT. Now this we will mark as set of equation B, and this we had started with set of equations A. Now what you can make out the difference here? Now look at the expression here. We need to know the EC minus EF minus EI and EI minus EF, it is okay, this is correct. EC, here it is, these two blocks. Okay, let me put the boxes for the important one. Now if I look at these two equations, A and B, see you can make out here the concentration of electrons can be calculated provided I know the values of EC and EF. Fine, rest all the values are constant. Here in case of intrinsic semiconductors, I need to know simply the value of Fermi level, intended Fermi level, and the intrinsic Fermi level. Fine, it is independent of EC and EV, meaning in this equation you don't get to see the terms EC and EV. Clear? This we had actually covered in the last class. Now, this equation A and B can also be represented in this fashion. So this is A. I can write this expression as the same expression as EC minus of EF equals to KT natural log NC by N. And here P can be written as EF minus of EV equals to KT natural log NV by P. And this expression can be written as EF minus EI KT natural log N by Ni, and here this again can be written as EI minus EF KT ln P by Ni. Fine. Now, in case of intrinsic semiconductor, we know that Ni equals to Pi. Fine. Now, the Ni values over here, and this is the expression for P. So I can take it as, for intrinsic, I can take it as Pi. Fine. Now, let me write this expression again. NC e raised to minus EC minus of EF by KT equals to NV e raised to minus EF by KT. Now, if I take the ratio of NC by NV, actually we are interested in finding the value of EF. Fine. If I solve this, the value of EF, what we get is EC plus EV by 2 minus KT by 2 log to the base E NC by NV. Now, if the effective masses of free electron and holes are same, okay, in this case, this is directly related to the effective masses of electrons and holes. Okay. Now, if they happens to be the same, then this term turns out to be 0, and Fermi level can be written as EC plus EV by 2. Now look at here. EC is the bottom energy level of conduction band, and EV is the topmost. So basically EC plus EV by 2 is the center line. So it lies right at the center. What it means, the EF reflects the probability. So the probability of having electrons over here is 50%. Fine. So for intrinsic condition semiconductors, electrons, the number of electrons is equal to number of holes. Fine. Next, in case of X level, this is the part you missed out in the last class. Fermi level in extrinsic semiconductor. Now, the objective here is to make out how this value, how it varies with temperature and concentration of impurity, that is doping. So we have the concentration N, this reflects the concentration of free electrons. Fine. It is NC e raised to minus of EC minus EF by KT. Okay, this is the first expression. Now, what is this equation reflect? It is the equation for number of free electrons. This is the concentration. N is the number of free electron. Okay. Now, and what is NC? Is the effective density of energy states. Effective density of energy states. Now, since we are talking about the electrons, it is effective density of energy states in conduction band. And what about this entire exponential function? It tells you whether that particular the density state is occupied or not. So it reflects the probability. Okay, just three things involved here. If I multiply the effective density states with the probability function, I will arrive at the concentration of electrons. Fine. For n-type semiconductor, now the objective, as I have told you, each and every concept has got objective. Now what we are trying to understand here is that how this is going to vary with temperature and impurity. Impurity depends upon the acceptor ions and the donor. Hope you recollect this. As I've told you right in the beginning, the most important thing is you have to get acquainted with these notations. Get used to these notations. Now, for n-type semiconductor, what if I increase the temperature? Fine. Now, in case of n-type semiconductor, if you recollect, we had equation in charge densities in semiconductor. Fine. The semiconductors obeys the net neutrality. That is the total number of positive charges here equals to negative charges. Fine. Here this is holes, this is electrons, these are the acceptor ions, and these are the donor ions. Fine. I hope people are recollecting this equation. Now for n-type semiconductor, there are no acceptors. What we have is simply the donors. Okay, because for example, the impurity here is type phosphorus. So what this phosphorus does, it gives out one electron. Okay, so net charge of that particular atom becomes positive because it has let loose one electron. Okay, so Nd will be equals to n minus of p. Now in this case, the number of electrons will be very much greater as compared to number of holes. So I can simply write the number of electrons is equal to the donor atoms or impurity atoms added. Fine. So as the temperature increases, we can write n equals to Nd. So Nd equals to Nc e raised to minus of Ec minus Ef by Kt. Okay, mark this as expression 2. Now log of Nd by Nc equals to minus Ec minus Ef by Kt. So Ef by Kt equals to log of Nd by Nc plus Ec by Kt. So what we are interested is finding the Fermi level. So Fermi level Ef will be equal to Kt log of Nd by Nc plus Ec by Kt. Kt gets cancelled. So it is Ec. Now I can write this as Ef. This is important equation now. Ec minus, I am just changing the numerator and denominator here, minus Kt log of Nc by Nd. Okay. Now where T is the temperature and Nd is the impurity. Fine. So similarly, Ef for this is for n-type semiconductor, you can note this down, and for p-type semiconductor, Ef equals to Ev plus Kt log of Nv by Na. So Ef is function of Tn and D, the donor concentration. For p-type, it is a function of acceptor concentration. Okay. So with this background information, let us start with the first problem. An intrinsic silicon bar is doped uniformly with 10 to the power 21 atoms of antimony per cubic meter. Calculate the values of exact and approximate resistivity. Assume, so some values are mentioned: the intrinsic concentration, the mobility of electron, the mobility of hole, and so on. Fine. So let me start here. Solution, given data. Okay. So write down what is Ni, what is mu n, mu p, and so on. Intrinsic concentration is 1.5. No, what else? Okay, the density of silicon is 5 into 10 to the power 28. Now there are, what is asked, the exact method and approximate method. In case of approximate, okay, what type of impurity is this antimony? It is pentavalent. Okay, this is pentavalent impurity. So this material becomes n-type material. Fine. Now, if it is n-type material, we can assume, okay, we can assume that the number of holes to be very small as compared to number of electrons. Now, when we assume something, the result what we will get is approximate result. Fine. Now, since it is n-type semiconductor, what we are assuming is that number of electrons will be very much greater as compared to number of holes. So we will not consider, the value of P for calculating the values of resistivity. What is asked is the resistivity. Resistivity is inversely proportional to conductivity. Fine. So conductivity is given as sigma equals to n into mu n into E. That is the concentration of electrons, the mobility of electron, and charge on the electron. So if you solve this, you get the value as 20.826, and then resistivity rho is 1 by sigma, which is 0.04800169 ohm centimeter. Okay, this is one part. Second part is, we have asked the exact value. Now when I say exact values, we cannot compromise with the number of holes. In the approximate, we say like the value of n is very much greater as compared to p, so that will not contribute much to the conductivity. Fine. But then we are asked to find the exact resistivity, so we have to consider the value of p. Now if you recollect the mass action law, what it states: in n-type semiconductor, okay, the product of electrons and holes is equal to Ni square. This is from mass action law. Okay. Now, since we are dealing with n-type semiconductor, we are going to use subscript n here, which is offset by 25%. Now, what it means by writing n here, small n, it tells you number of electrons in n region, number of holes in n region. Fine. So, if I want to calculate the p value here, which is the minority charge carriers, here we have ignored it, isn't it? P was ignored. Here we have to consider it. So calculate the value of Pn as Ni square by Nn. Fine. Now here Ni square, and from the previous slide here, N is as good as donor concentration. Ni upon Nd. So you can calculate the value of Pn here. Then now the conductivity in this case will be due to both holes as well as electrons. So conductivity equals to N into mu N plus P into mu P multiplied with the charge of an electron. If I substitute the value, you need to substitute here. The answer of what I get is conductivity is 20.826 and the resistivity equals to 1 by sigma, that is 0.0480169 ohms centimeter. Now, after solving this problem, what we have realized, see, there is practically no difference between the resistivity obtained from the approximate method and the exact method. See, look at the final answer. It is the same. Fine. The first step, always solution is to write the given data. Now for constraint of time, I'm skipping that step, but in the exams, you don't skip it. Now, from the previous problem, we'll borrow some ideas. And what was that idea? If it is N-type semiconductors, we will ignore the concentration of holes. Fine. We will strictly limit ourselves to the value of or the concentration or the quantity of electrons to compute any value. Now, what is asked? A specimen of germanium material which is the density of so and so is doped with impurity atom such that there is one impurity in 10 to the power 6. So go through the problem. I hope you people have gone through this statement. What is mentioned is the resistivity. So let me write the resistivity. See, without writing the given data, you cannot proceed. Resistivity 0.039 centimeter. Conductivity is sigma will be 25.64. Carrier mobility is given as 3600 centimeter square per volt second. So the conductivity of electron is given as product of concentration of electrons into charge of an electrons into the mobility of an electron. Okay, from our previous discussion we can write N equals to Nd. Fine, then the concentration depends upon the donor ions into E into mu E. Now here we have to calculate the concentration of donor atoms Nd. So Nd will be equal to sigma n, that is the conductivity of only due to the electrons, divided by product of E into mu E. Fine. Next step is you need to substitute 25.64 divided by E is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19, and this is 3600. So the value what you get is 4.45 into 10 to the power 16 centimeter cube. Now, from our discussion, the concentration of electrons given as S, given or denoted as N, is equal to ND, fine, which will be 4.45 into 10 to the power 16 per centimeter cube, okay, volume. Now, so what is asked is find the electron and the hole densities. So if I want to calculate the value of P, it will be Ni square upon N using mass action law. What it says, the product of Np is equal to Ni square. So if I substitute the values, Ni is concentration, not here, 2.25 into 10 to the power 13 raised to 2 divided by n. N we have already calculated as 4.45 into 10 to the power 16, 26 minus 10. So it will be, this is 26 minus of 16, 2.25 divided by 4.45, 1.44 into 10 to the power 10 per cubic centimeter. And then you have to write the answer. Okay. Oh, this slide I'll be sharing with you all. But I guess you people have understood here. How do we calculate the concentration of electrons and holes? If it is n-type semiconductor, the P is minority carriers, and to calculate the minority value, the holes, we have to make use of mass action law. Right? Next problem. In an n-type semiconductor, the Fermi level lies. Now, these problems are related to the Fermi levels in semiconductor. Okay. In an n-type semiconductor, so here, the very first thing is try to visualize the data. This is the conduction band. Conduction band, and this energy is marked as EC. Valence band, and this energy is marked as EV. Fine, EC and EV. This is the intrinsic Fermi level which lies at the center of the semiconductor. Now, it is categorically marked here. It is n-type semiconductor. Fine. If it is n-type semiconductor, the Fermi level will lie closer to the conduction band. Okay. Fermi level, and we can mark this as N. Fermi level of electrons here. Fine. It is nearer to the conduction band. Why it is nearer, that we have discussed. Okay. Now, what it says, the Fermi level lies 0.3 electron volt below the conduction band. So this gap is 0.3 electron volt at a room temperature of 300 degree Kelvin. Now, what if I increase the temperature to 330 degree Kelvin? Determine the new position, whether it's going to shift the Fermi level up or down. Fine. Now, we have the value of N equals to Nc e raised to minus of Ec minus Ef by kT. If I want to calculate the value of P, it will be Nv, the energy density states, into e raised to minus of Ef minus Ev, the term. Now, in case of concentration of electron, this Ev term will not appear. We are least bothered about this Ev. And there's always a confusion, like which term will come first. So it will be Ec is at higher potential as compared to Ef. So it is Ec minus Ef. Fine. For P, it is, if the Ef shifts here, it will be Ef minus Ev. So get used to these equations. What we are interested in finding is the value of Ef, new position of Fermi level. Now, this N can be written as donor. Okay. That's the reason why I solved last two problem. N equals to ND for N-type semiconductor. We can ignore the contribution of holes for conductivity. Fine. So EF can be written as EC minus of KT type semiconductor. It is EC minus of EF. Okay, EC minus of EF KT NC by ND. Okay, correct. Yeah. So we can write EC minus of EF equals to KT NC by N, and here N can be written as ND. So the difference EC minus of EF is 0.3 electron volt. KT is 330 K ln NC by ND. So if I solve this, then EC minus EF this is 330K. So what I get is EC minus of EF with 330 2.3 by 300. Comparing this, what I get is 0.33 electron volt. So it shifts to the value of 0.33 electron volt. Okay. Next one, in an n-type semiconductor, the Fermi level lies 0.02 electron volt below the conduction band. If the concentration of donor atoms is increased by a factor of 4 times, find the new position of the Fermi level. Again, n-type semiconductor. Now assume KT as 0.025. So we have the equation N equals to ND, which equals to NC e raised to, since it is n-type semiconductor, EC and EF term will be involved. EC minus EF by KT. So let initially, there are two cases here. Before the normal condition, and then it is increased by a factor of 4. Fine. Let initially, just to differentiate, okay, the ND can be written as NDO and EF as EFO. Okay, initial condition. So EC minus of EFO is 0.2 electron volt, this is taken as 0.02. Okay, 0.2 electron volt. So NDO equals to NC e raised to minus of 0.2 by 0.025. So it is NC e raised to minus of 8. When now for the second case, ND is 4 times the initial condition, and similarly we can write this new Fermi level as EF1. Okay, so 4 times NDO equals to NC into e raised to EC minus of E of 1 by 0.025. The product of K into T, Boltzmann constant and temperature. So from here, you can simplify e raised to minus of 40 EC minus E of 1. So 4 into NC raised to minus 8. Okay, and DO can be written as NC into e raised to minus 8, which equals to NC e raised to minus of 40 EC minus E of 1. So if you solve this, okay, I'll just write the step e raised to minus 40 EC minus of E of 1 plus 8. Taking the natural log on both the sides, what we get is uh, 4 minus 40 EC minus of E of 1 plus 8. So what we are interested in finding the new Fermi level, EC minus E of 1 is 0.165 electron volt. So this is the new position when the concentration of donor atoms is increased by factor of 4. In the last problem, we had seen what is the effect on the Fermi level when the temperature is changed. Okay, simple problem. Next, the fifth one. Find the intrinsic carrier concentration in silicon at 300 degree Kelvin, for which this is the value of N, then band gap is given, and so on. So go through the problem first. What is asked here is the conductivity. Eg is 1.1 electron volt, mu E is 14. So in this case, the band gap energy is Eg. You can write smaller this notation alphabet. Eg equals to 1.1 electron volt. So it is 1.1 into 1.602 into 10 to the power 19 joules. We are trying to get in terms of joules. So it is 1.762 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. Okay. The Boltzmann constant is 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 joules per Kelvin. Then temperature, you have to consider it as, we can room temperature 300 degree Kelvin. So intrinsic carrier concentration Ni is given as N. Fine. N value is 3 into 10 to the power 25 per meter cube e raised to Eg by 2 kT. It is at the center. So if you substitute the values, the concentration is 1.715 into 10 to the power 16 per meter cube. Now the conductivity of silicon. The conductivity of silicon is N equals to P here in case of intrinsic semiconductor. So I'll take it as Ni. So E is also common in that equation. So it is mu E plus whole. the mobility of hole and the mobility of electron, mu E and mu H. If you substitute this, what you get is 0.522 into 10 to the power 3 Siemens per meter. Next, problem number 6. For the intrinsic semiconductor with energy gap of 0.72 electron volt, determine the position of Fermi level at 300 Kelvin if the mass of hole is equal to 5 times the mass of electron. Now, the very first equation that should come to your mind is, in case of intrinsic semiconductor, the difference of EF minus of EV is equal to EC minus of EV by 2 minus KT by 2 NC by NV. Fine. Now, this NC and NV are purely function of their masses. So we can write this as Eg by 2, the difference between conduction, the lowest conduction band and upper level of valence band, EV, is Eg by 2 minus of KT by 2 E. Rest all the term gets cancelled here from the big equation. And if you now substitute 0.72 by 2 into 3 into 8.62 into 10 to the power minus 5 into 300, 3 kt log of 4 log of 1 by 5, and the answer you get is 0.36 plus 0.031. It is 0.391 electron volt. Okay, some simple problems, and this is the last one. Now, in a p-type semiconductor, the Fermi level lies 0.39 electron volt above the valence band. So here is your conduction band, valence band. The Fermi level lies EF lies here above the conduction band, above the valence band by a value of 0.39 electron volt. So in a p-type semiconductor material, the concentration of acceptor atoms, let me write, the concentration of acceptor atoms is given by Na. This is equal to P. From the charge densities in semiconductors, we have concluded that the value of N is equal to the number of donor atom. Likewise, we can write P equals to Na, but we already derived what is P. It is the energy density states into e raised to minus of EF minus of EV by KT. Okay. Now, there are two cases here. What if the concentration of acceptor atoms is tripled now? So there is initial condition and there is final condition. So let initial atom concentration be denoted as initial. Okay. Initial, let us denote it as Na1, and the Fermi level, let us denote this as EF1. Okay. Then we can write Na1 equals to NV e raised to the difference. EF minus EV is how much? 0.31 minus sign 0.39, and this directly the product is given. How we arrive at this value we'll discuss later, in next class. 0.026. So this is NV e raised to minus 15. Mark this as expression 1. Okay. How I got this 0.39? It is a difference. EF minus EV is clearly given in the problem statement itself. Now for the second case, this is for the case 1. For case 2, when acceptor concentration Na2, now for this second case, okay, it is 3 times as compared to Na1, tripled. And let us mark the new Fermi level as EF2. This is the case, the Fermi level when the concentration of atoms is tripled. Clear? So we are having two cases here, initial condition and second condition, when the acceptor concentration is increased. Now we can write on similar lines Na2 equals to EF2 minus of EV by 0.026. Same expression, okay? Only the notations are getting changed here. Fine. So, or Na2 in terms of Na1 will be 3 times Na1 will be equals to NV e raised to minus of EF2 minus EV 0.026. Now, let us mark this as expression 2 and this is expression 1. If we compare the two expressions, fine, we already have the value of Na1 in terms of NV e raised to power minus 15. Okay, so if you solve this, okay, if you solve these equations, what we get is EF2 minus of EV equals to 0.026 15 log of 3 to the base E, and the answer is 0.36 electron volt. So what we can conclude from here is to begin with, when the concentration of acceptors was at some value, we had EF equals to 0.39, the difference. If I increase the concentration of acceptor atoms, so the more number of holes will be created. If the more number of holes are created, this Fermi level will shift towards the EV. So this is what we are getting. It is shifting towards the EV. Now this gap has reduced by 0.03. So it is 0.36. So 0.3. 0.36. Clear? So we have seen the cases. What happens if the temperature increases? What happens if the concentration increases for both N type, and for P type we have just seen the case for the change in the concentration. Fine. Now these are the 7 problems I had to discuss with you. Now